If you ask me what my most anticipated animated movie of 2019 is, it's easily Toy Story 4, but not that far behind was How to Train Your Dragon 3, or How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World.
It really does exist.
Now that's a king.
You're right, bud. It's time.
Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage, and for quite some time there was this big rivalry between Pixar and DreamWorks Animation. While Pixar was more lauded for their imaginative original stories and the big emotional resonance most of the films had, DreamWorks was leaning towards a more comedic approach in most cases. But their 2010 hit film How to Train Your Dragon had it all for me, and their take on the boy and his dog story, changing the dog to a dragon set in a fantastical Viking world, was adventurous, fun, gorgeously animated, and above all, very emotional and relatable. It's probably still my favorite film by DreamWorks, with Kung Fu Panda 2 a close second. But like with that trilogy as well, I have to say that I think the third, and for the time being last part of that franchise, is kind of underwhelming. Both Kung Fu Panda movies as well as How to Train Your Dragon entries are very cleverly structured and well told adventure films with a strong emotional core, and in both instances I was very surprised that their conclusions appear to be much lighter in tone with less stakes, or at least stakes that don't feel as heavy as I thought they should. Now The Hidden World, as the final chapter is titled, isn't a bad movie at all. The animation is once again wonderful, the voice acting is top notch, and the story, action and emotions are fine. But only fine, and that's not what I was hoping for. Like the two movies before, it was directed and co-written by DeBlois, and except one person, all of the voice actors are back as well. The score was also again composed by John Powell, and I think other major departments stayed the same as well. So what's missing for me? My major criticism lies with the story and the overall direction they decided on. Since the events of the last movie, there hasn't been much time passed in the world of our hero Hiccup, his girlfriend Astrid, their friends, and of course dragons. It has only been a year and they have built this peaceful dragon utopia where both humans and dragons live together. So what's the big thing that threatens to destroy it? A rather generic dragon hunter who is out to capture and kill our beloved Night Fury Toothless. His name is Grimmel, he has a promising introduction and he's voiced by the great F. Murray Abraham. But over the course of the film he never amounts to much. He's a very simple all-evil character, but he's not bringing anything memorable enough to the story or does anything particularly clever or never seen before to stick out in any shape or form. Little side note, it was also not helping for me personally that his design reminded me so much of the German punk rock musician Farin Urlaub. A big reason for the first How to Train Your Dragon being so great was the conflict between Hiccup and his father Stoic. Hiccup felt that he was nothing like his father, who was this big, powerful leader of their people. And when he befriended a dragon, the arch-enemies of the Vikings, things only got worse. Their relationship changed over the course of the film or the course of the first two films. In a second, Hiccup's long-lost mother reappeared, and the family dynamic changed again. His father dying at the end of the second movie was a big emotional punch and very powerful. His mother on the other side gets completely pushed to the background in this new film. There's basically zero conflict or any kind of big development. This also applies to pretty much all of Hiccup's friends. I have to admit that it has been a very long time since I saw the first two films, and I do think they were mostly there for comedic purposes and to give our main protagonist a little bit to work with. But here, comedic relief is everything they are good for, and apart from a few jokes, I don't care that much about that aspect. Roughnut and her naivety is completely abused as a very cheap plot device to move the story forward at one point, without it having any consequences for her or their friendship. After the very first sequence, a very atmospheric and well-directed action set piece, a minor theme of the film gets introduced. The team has to learn to work together and not just rely on their dragons. Now I don't think this is picked up on again until the very end, but then they more or less instantly learn to do exactly that to save the day. Which was yet another aspect that let the stakes come across rather low, because everything was solved a bit too easily. Another theme that's at least picked up on a little bit more often is Hiccup's new role as the leader of his people and also his future with his girlfriend Astrid. But there are almost no real conflicts here. Everything with him and Astrid is great, and his people are completely supporting every decision he's making as well. And those decisions turn out to be rather good too, unless the villain is doing something they couldn't prevent anyway. So unfortunately, I was never that engaged, and the film doesn't succeed in building any real tension or emotional weight. Except for whenever we get those great moments with Toothless and his new romantic interest, a White Knight Fury or Light Fury. Seeing him trying to make a move, trying not to be awkward. Their interaction and Hiccup dealing with his new situation, that's where the film's strengths are. But, and here comes another rather big but, this is also connected to the film's biggest idea, as it should be, but that idea and the way it is unfolding felt almost like a little betrayal to me. I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to spoil it, but the big conflict of the film and its solution never felt established well enough for me. I thought it was a cop-out. I thought our hero or heroes should have dealt differently with it, should have worked something out. But maybe that's just me. Now let me try to sum it up. For the conclusion of this trilogy, the story, villain and all of the film's conflicts aren't strong enough. For me, they didn't satisfyingly justify the direction they were going for in the end. There's a very small epilogue at the end of it that shows us a Hiccup who's older, wearing a full-sized beard. After the screening, the friend I watched the film with said it would have made a cooler, more interesting angle for the film to begin with that. Let more time pass and confront our characters with more changes and obstacles they didn't deal with before. And I agree with that. And one last thing, because I haven't mentioned it at all so far, the titular Hidden World makes a beautiful appearance in the film, but it honestly never felt that strongly woven into the narrative at all. Again, for where they finally went, it was important, but the threat to it should have been fleshed out a lot stronger. Maybe I will enjoy the film a lot more on a second viewing, now that I know what we got. But right now I can't help feeling disappointed. But maybe with a lower expectation you end up liking it a lot more. So in German I'd say Drachenzähmen leicht gemacht 3, die geheime Welt, ist ein netter und spaßiger Abenteuer-Animationsfilm, der als Abschluss einer starken Reihe aber doch irgendwie enttäuscht. Die Geschichte, der Bösewicht und die Konflikte für unsere Charaktere sind einfach nicht stark genug, um einen wirklich in den Bann zu ziehen. Einige tolle, emotionale Momente, vor allem mit den liebgewonnenen Drachen, hat der Film aber trotzdem zu bieten. I can absolutely see me giving How to Train Your Dragon The Hidden World 7 out of 10, but right now, after thinking about the movie for this review, it's a 6 out of 10. It's more like 6.4, but I don't do that. Alright, that's it like always. Comment below and let me know what you think about How to Train Your Dragon The Hidden World. And also let me know what is your favorite film by DreamWorks Animation. You can hit me up on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram simply at TheJimmyCage. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all I have to tell.